The Simpsons is without a doubt a classic feel-good cartoon comedy, my all-time favorite. It's been running for over 30 years, which is absolutely insane, and in that time, it's been responsible for countless laughs around the world. But oddly enough, it's also had some pretty spot-on predictions for things that have actually happened in the world. Or are these just predictions, or did the Simpsons writing team somehow figure out a way to crack a code in the universe and figure out how to dictate what happens next? I mean, how do they know Donald Trump was going to be the next American president? And did they predict the current virus going on? Well, what's happening, you guys? I'm your host for this one, Landon Daltzing, and welcome back to another Most Amazing Top 10 video. So before we get started on this list, let me know in the comment section below what is your favorite cartoon of all time. And also make sure if you guys are new here to hit the subscribe button. Also, just letting you guys know, a huge shout out to the person that helped script this video presented for you guys. Her Instagram is right here. Her name is Mackenzie, and she's helping out script write videos for you guys, because right now with the virus thing going on, we're trying to film as far ahead as possible in case we are forced to be shut down. So make sure you guys head over to her Instagram and tell her Landon sent you. Put Landon sent me here. Let's overwhelm it. All right, let's get right into this video. This is the top 10 times the Simpsons predicted disaster. Starting us off, number 10 is faulty voting machines. In season 20, episode 4, titled Treehouse of Horror, it was a time for federal elections. At the voting station, Homer was trying to vote for Obama on the voting machine, but it kept changing it to John McCain. 4 years later, when Obama was running for his second term, a voting machine in Pennsylvania had to be removed because it was actually switching votes for Obama. If you ask me, it's absolutely terrifying to think that faulty coding can sway an election like that and impact millions of lives if it goes too far. I mean, did Donald Trump actually become the president, or was it just a big mistake with a lot of faulty machines? Next up is President Trump. Yes, that's right, the Simpsons predicted that Donald Trump running for and becoming president would be a thing. Bart to the Future, which was season 11, episode 17, was the second episode of The Simpsons to be set in the future. In it, Trump was president of the US and caused America's economy to plummet, leaving Lisa to inherit the debt. In a 2016 episode, writer Dan Negrini mentioned that having Trump be president just seemed to be the logical last stop before hitting bottom. In which I don't think I need to dig too much into that. All I'm going to say is that he agrees with the statement, and who am I to argue with that? In at number 8 is the Three-Eyed Fish. In season 2, episode 4, titled Two Cars in Every Garage and Three Eyes on Every Fish, Bart went fishing into the river right next to the power plant, and he actually ended up catching a fish with 3 eyes. Well, over 10 years later, a three-eyed fish actually was caught in a river that was fed by a nuclear power plant. I feel like this episode serves as a really big warning to dangers of pollution. I wonder what other sorts of mutated creatures are walking and swimming around. Alright, coming in at number 7 is Horse Meat for Sale. The episode Sweet Seymour Skinner Badass Song, season 5, episode 19, had lunch lady Doris using different types of horse meat to make lunch for all of Springfield's elementary school. Well, years later, in 2003, Ireland's Food Safety Authority found horse DNA in a bunch of samples of beef patty. I mean, people usually make their own burgers because they actually want to know what's in it. They're trying not to play Russian roulette with whether or not you're eating horse meat. And wasn't there horse meat found at IKEA? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a thing, IKEA. Our number 6 slot goes to AUTOCORRECT. I mean, this one isn't technically a disaster, but it definitely has led to some disastrous miscommunication. In Lisa's on Ice in season 6, episode 8, students at Springfield are trying to make a note on their device to try to beat up Martin, but the device autocorrected to say, "Eat up Martha." It was making fun of Apple's Newton device, which came years before any sorts of, sophisticated iPod Touch or iPhone even entered the market. It apparently served as inspiration for technology from Apple to improve the keyboard. But that doesn't stop my autocorrect from changing words that I don't want to be changed and making me so ducking mad. Our halfway slot goes to A White Tiger Attack. Well, this one happened in season 5, episode 10, titled Springfield. In this episode, a Simpsons universe duo called Gunter and Ernest, clearly meant to resemble Siegfried and Roy. If you guys remember those two, they were viciously attacked on one of their Vegas shows by a white tiger. Then 10 years later, Roy Horn of Siegfried and Roy actually was attacked by their white tiger at their show. Although injured, Roy luckily survived the attack. Next up, number 4 is the gory billboard. Season 4, episode 6, titled Itchy and Scratchy. The movie shows a billboard for a movie obviously called Itchy and Scratchy that sends Scratchy's blood shooting into cars that are just driving by. Over 15 years later, in 2008, a billboard for Kill Bill Volume 1 did the exact same thing, splattering a parking lot and all of the cars in it with bright red blood. I really hope that stuff washed off easily, because I think I'd be really upset if I found my car had fake blood all over it. I mean, real blood or fake blood, I still have to clean that stuff up. Take number 3 slot is one that's honestly insane to me. In the Simpsons movie, Marge threatens to expose the government's secrets. I wonder what secrets they have. Well, she's brought into a room that is filled with computer monitors and government officials listening in on private phone calls, trying to find incriminating statements or evidence against members of the public. Well, 6 years later, Edward revealed to the public in a huge scandal that the NSA actually is listening in and spying on us. I mean, how did the Simpsons know? This breach in privacy and security was absolutely huge, and honestly, it still kind of scares me, the control that the government has. Coming number 2 is the God Particle. I'm talking about season 10, episode 2, The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace. Homer decides to become an inventor. In one scene, he is standing in front of a super complicated equation on a chalkboard. Well, as it turns out, this equation accurately predicted the mass of the Higgs-boson particle, or the God particle, before it was even discovered. I know this one isn't technically a disaster, but it's absolutely crazy to me that the Simpsons predicted the particle that explains how everything in the universe exists and where it all came from. And finally, closing us off in at number 1, we gotta do it. We're talking about the virus. Did the Simpsons actually predict the craziness going on right now? Well, yeah, let's go back to season 4, which was years ago, episode 21, Marge in Chains. Well, the Simpsons predicted the very pandemic that we're dealing with today. Well, kind of. Well, I'll let you guys be the judge of this one. Part of the plot of this episode is a factory worker in Japan coughing into boxes after explaining that he has the flu. The box then gets shipped to Springfield, where the flu is released and ultimately infects many of the characters. The flu in this episode has no known cure, and in one of the scenes, a doctor even says that the best thing to do is to rest, and any medicine that they would give would only be a placebo, like no medications will work. Sound pretty familiar or what? Well, there's a series of images circulating around right now on the internet, one of which shows a newscast with the words coronavirus behind him. However, the specific image was actually altered. It's not a real image, I'm pretty sure. The original didn't say anything about corona. If it did, that would be absolutely insane. Regardless, there are still way too many key similarities that are just a bit too close for comfort for this one. Well, there you guys have it. That was the top 10 times the Simpsons predicted disaster. Let me know if I've missed any in the comment section below. That's it for me, guys. I was your host for this one, Landon Delitzing, and don't forget to head over to Mackenzie's Instagram and tell her I sent you, because she's been helping out a lot. She's been helping me trying to get as far ahead as possible, so that way if I do have to be isolated at home, I can still have videos for you guys.